Our series against Unicorns will be pretty exciting.
We are 1-1 versus them.
Unicorns of Love have obliterated Gambit.
We are just playing better and better, and Unicorns are still being consistent.
For the Unicorns of Love, up and down the entirety of the split.
We usually struggle in best of ones, but in best of fives, I think we have the edge.
It's a shutdown as VODS picks up Hanoi. Edward, he is going to go down.
Gambit, they just found that on switch, going to that 7-game winning streak. Oh, that's a great stun by Cambo shot. Great engage.
Everything they do and we can adapt to it, I think we will have the edge over them.
The Nexus is going to fall. Gambit Gaming have done it.
The Unicorns level won't be able to match our level of play.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2015 European League of Legends Spring Playoffs quarterfinals. We're broadcasting to you live from our fantastic studio in Berlin, Germany, where you see that the fans are absolutely hyped for this second quarterfinal we're going to see here today. A lot of Unicorns fans with their props wanting to see them victorious today, and the Gambit fans also here to support their team. Where we see Gambit stepping into the building with Leviathan in the back. I'm sure he's got a lot of plans to make his team shine today, and they're the Unicorns of Love setting up on stage, getting ready. And their Redbeard and Mages are casters. They couldn't figure it out themselves. They needed some help. And a glorious picture from Trevor, if I may add. I'm Ifje, shock supporter at the helm of the analyst desk, where I'm joined by our guests, the former coach for Meet Your Makers, Yamato Cannon, and the coach for our newest semifinalist, Prolly of H2K. Thank you very much for joining us, Prolly. Did you get some sleep after what I can only imagine were fantastic celebrations after you locked in that spot?
Yeah, we got a little bit of fun, but our team is really bad at celebrating. So that's probably my next goal for a coach, is to get us better at celebrating and being happy about stuff.
All right, not a lot of celebrating. Did you have any time to reflect on the series, which was actually pretty flawless, except for the bump in the road in Game 2?
Yeah, that's, I guess, why we're so bad at celebrating. We were focusing on what we should have been doing better and stuff. So we actually took a lot of time to really think about the things we did well and wrong, and mostly try to replicate the things we're doing right in the most efficient manner.
Yeah, that is absolutely the right attitude. Yamato, if you reflect on the series back yesterday, and then in terms of looking at the Copenhagen Wolves, they didn't manage to fix the things that they'd been struggling with in the 9 weeks prior to the playoffs, and not in the playoffs either.
I would actually go so far to say to expect some roster swaps, unless they want to stay as a mid-tier team. So that's something I'm looking forward to see if they're actually going to commit into that.
All right, we will see. But in the end, probably very good performance from you guys. What does the next couple of weeks look like? Amping it up a little more, because you already have coach of the split.
Yeah, man. The next weeks are going to be grueling. I'm probably going to try some new stuff, and it's going to be a lot more strict, I guess, from our side. But hopefully, we were kind of sad about our last play against Fnatic, so everyone's really, really hungry. We all really want to beat Fnatic, so we're going to try hard, and we're going to do our thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic matchup. Something else I wanted to touch on yesterday, first games we saw on 5.6 here, we were touching on Athenes and how much it would influence the games yesterday. What are your thoughts?
I think still I will stand by my point that Athenes on Holy Grail will make a massive impact at some point. I think it will just smack the scene by the face when it happens, and the meta will just completely shift into boring farm mid laners. But I have to say that I'm still happy to see a lot of Arya and especially Diana play.
Well, as the tanks are kind of coming in more, you need mana to actually kill the tanks. So you'll see a lot of times mids going now. So I think it's going to be a good way to counterpick tanks more often. I do see mid lane maybe getting a bit boring, but I really hope it just means, oh, we have more mana, let's go fight more.
Yeah.
What definitely isn't boring is Luden's Echo. We saw a lot of it yesterday on Ahri and on Diana. Diana as third item for your Rio, and you didn't agree with that at all.
Not at all, because I think it just delays the good items so much. At the point where you actually finish Luden's Echo, it's super strong, but then it just completely ruins your mid game and your late game. I guess it doesn't ruin your mid game, but it kind of ruins your late game because you need Void Staff, Hourglass, Death Cap. It's so good.
Well, I mean, so we had Nashers on Diana, so Luden's Echo is going to be super strong 1v1. And then in team fights, his job literally was just RQ assassinate someone, not QR and just keep the sustain damage. His job really was to insta-kill Freeze, insta-kill Soren. Right. So that's where I really like the Luden's Echo, because it's yeah, we'll go in and we'll one-hit that guy. Or we'll split push because we have Nashor's Tooth.
I guess it works because of the Kog'Maws also. doesn't need really
That's true.
scaling. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get your point.
And you guys did end up winning, and with that, H2K did punch in a ticket to the semifinals. That means, as we touched on, you guys will be playing the number 2 seed Fnatic, and the remaining semifinal spot will be decided today between the Gambit and the Unicorns of Love, and the winner of that will end up playing SK Gaming. And also, the winner today will earn at least 30 championship points, and the loser will go home with 10. Very important this season, as the team that at the end of the summer split has the most championship points will automatically qualify for Worlds. Now, with those teams that we know that are already locked in for the semifinals, H2K and Fnatic and SK, who were locked in before. We will see those teams in Madrid. Tickets are still available to attend the show on the 18th of April. We'll have the third place game and the finals on Sunday, April 19th. The winner of the playoffs goes to the mid-season invitational, and it all takes place at the Palacio Vista Alegre. All the info is over on lolesports.com, and you can get your tickets there as well to join us and look at all the action. And I actually forgot to touch on it yesterday, probably, but really cool. You get to take your team on a road trip to Madrid and play in that great arena.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a challenge because we're still getting settled. So the biggest complaint right now is like, we have to pack. Like, so I'm gonna be there like, did you guys bring your underwear and your socks? So it will be an experience, I'll tell you that.
No, be team bonding. It'll be great. Going to the sun in Madrid. Well, yesterday, after you guys ended up winning versus the Copenhagen Wolves, the North American playoffs kicked off as well. And then Team Liquid absolutely shut down CLG, a clean 3-0. That means they locked in their spot for the semifinal versus Cloud9 next week. Later today, we'll also have Team Infos versus Gravity, as they will be playing to get into the semifinals versus TSM. But Yamato, you watched that series yesterday as well. Golden Age more seems like golden couple of months for CLG.
Yeah, I don't even think like the golden age was never existent to me, because the same issues they had before were still there, and I'm actually really sad for them because they have a talented roster with the addition of Zion Spartan and Xmithy, of course.
Yeah, I'm just really scared that CLG, like, unbeknownst to them, are really affected by what social media does. Because there's no way that they're always right. Like, social media always ends up being right about this team. And I think it happens to be, yeah, they read it and it, like, subconsciously changes what they do. I don't think they can really shake off, you know, what the public says.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, as you will. Well, too bad for CLG, but the second NALCS quarterfinal will take place immediately following our broadcast here later today between Team Impulse and Gravity. Now, I'd like to turn to you guys and have your opinion. With the fact that all these games now are best of fives, it is do or die. Which team do you think will best adapt their strategy to a best of five, and why? Probably, I think you got pretty good strategy in best of fives.
Yeah, we have a pretty nice 3-0 in all three of our best of five so far. So we will have to figure out what to do for game 4 and 5 if that ever comes up. But as of now, I think the team's actually really dedicated into figuring out the best way to play the best of fives. It's not really a relaxed point of view. Everyone's really intense, like they want to know how to do best of five. So I think we're doing a really good job, and we should be able to show it next week.
If it may ever come up, a 4th or 5th game, you are playing Fnatic, so I dare to say it might be the case.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yamato, what do you think?
I actually have to agree with them. Like H2K, I think they have the most like durable way of playing in terms of like their general strategy in game, because they don't really have, like, they're playing good. They don't have like a strategy to counter. When Fnatic, like, they have the Huni thing when they're roaming, and of course SK, they're just pushing every lane. So in terms of strategy, they're kind of like, they have the good strategy. While I have to say that pick and ban phase, I have to give it to SK in this scenario.
All right, well, we'll see them playing next week as well. We heard what these guys have to say, but remember, we want to hear your opinion. Tweet your answers at LOL Esports, and be sure to use that hashtag LCS so we can talk about your answers later on the desk here today. And now, it is time for our second quarterfinal here in the European LCS between the 4th seed Gambit Gaming and the 5th seed, the Unicorns of Love. They are 1-1 in the regular season. Gambit did beat out the Unicorns of Love last week here in Week 9. So let's start by taking a look at the lineup for Gambit. They are on blue side for the very first game of the series. Cabochard, Diamond, Betsy, Pinoy, Edward, and their coach, Leviathan. Now, the big story coming into this season for this team was the changing of the AD carry and top. And although Pinoy was really styling at IM Cologne in the preseason and even 1v1 in double lift, for me, it was Cabochard that has really put this team into the definitive form.
Yeah, for sure. Like Cabochard, even at the IM event that Pinoy like played well, he played super well as well. And I think throughout the season, Cabochard has been like the main point of strategy for Gambit. They're playing around top lane and also always giving him the last pick to ensure that he gets a good matchup.
Yeah, and they always pick some kind of influence teamfight top laner. They never really pick a top laner that just only wants to stay 1v1.
Yeah.
So it works really well because, yeah, now you have this big tank initiator, this big damage dealer that's fed coming into a team fight. So team fights, go pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So Kabashard really good. Also, Diamond really found his groove by being able to have that synergy with Kabashard in the top lane. But the big glaring error here for Gambit, or the thing that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, and especially after IM Katowice, the mid game, they haven't been as dominating in that, and it seems that they are a little lost.
I think the difficulty I have with Diamond is like he always has these 3 champions he's super good at, but when he's trying to expand his pool, it just goes like completely wrong. And we've seen it like the past few weeks. So I want him to go back to the fundamental picks where he's actually performed well on, and that actually will improve their mid game, I think.
I think a big reason why their mid game kind of falls off is because of how their game plan is going in. They really want to focus around top, and when your jungler is topside, that means your support doesn't get to invade and ward. So you can't really focus on other, the 75% of the map that you're kind of missing. So I think with always sending the jungler top towards mid game, you kind of sacrifice pressure in all the other lanes. And I think that's why their mid game kind of seems weak, is because, yeah, they can't really group jungler and support to invade their jungler's top.
Yeah, that's actually a super good point. Like, based on the fact how the meta has changed in top lane, it's basically people are playing tanks there and they're going to be fine whether they're getting ganked or not. So it's not going to have that much of an impact on the game.
Yeah, we'll see. Top very important here. And the other team, the Unicorns of Love, on the red side for Game 1, have a very strong top laner as well. Vizichachi, Kiki's Power of Evil, Vardags, Hylissang, and their coach, Sheepy. Different issues for them, or not issues, question marks for us as they came into the LCS from the Challenger scene, is they are quite aggressive in their playstyle, and they have some off-meta picks, and it actually resulted in a very inconsistent season for them, beating teams above them, actually 67% of victories against teams that are placed higher than them, and 25% against teams that are under them. Basically inconsistent, but how is it then that they still manage to pull out those fantastic upsets against teams like Fnatic?
It's like if I take a look at their history of their games, whenever they've taken victories, it's because they've been really good at punishing mistakes. They don't really take control themselves unless they're like super snowballing with like a fizz pick. But they're really good at punishing mistakes. When they actually happen, they usually take games home. And also they have like this goofy like ban and pick phase that could completely go either way. But now I feel that Gambit should be prepared for it.
Yeah, I think Gambit does have a pretty solid game plan, but the scary thing is, so they have such a good win percentage against, better teams. So if they go 0-1, does that mean they're going to go 3-0 after that? Like, I wonder if they start winning, they'll like fall off and lose. But if they lose in the beginning, they'll come back later in the series.
Yeah.
We'll see. When they qualified for LCS, they were down 0-2 and ended up winning the series best of 5 as well. So they got that in their back pocket. We already touched on the top lane, and that will also be our featured matchup in this one. Both LCS rookies, Kabashard and Vizichachi, but they've made such a mark. How do you compare them in style, and who could get the upper hand here, Jacob?
I would actually say, like, just based on the meta right now, I would have to give Vizichachi the edge because we've seen him perform well on champions like Maokai. It feels kind of out of place for Kabashard to play Maokai, so I'm expecting Maokai bans on red side for Gambit.
I actually am going to have to go with Kabashard. Like, I honestly think he has a lot more like impact towards the mid game, where he really has the advantage from Diamond procs helping him, and he doesn't like keep it top lane. He does move it to mid lane or to a dragon fight.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Maokai. Maokai has been imperative. We saw it yesterday. Otowamne 3-0 on that one in your series. But is it really worth trying to ban either of those out?
It feels like Maokai is the only champion that can do what Maokai does. Like, he doesn't have bad matchups, always does what Maokai does. You can gank him 3 times, doesn't matter. He's always going to be a tree.
3 times.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That oak tree is really hard to chop down. You can't do anything. I mean, I think Odo was like 0-2 in the first 2 or 3 games. And then he was like, tanky as hell later. It's like, yeah, good kills, but didn't really matter.
Odo is 8-0 on that tree overall, so pretty strong. We'll see if it comes out as a first pick. Now for an inside preview into today's quarterfinal, let's head on stage and talk to the coaches, Gary.